Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for my first official video. Like I said in my intro, I wanted to do my first video on depression. Um, the whole reason I started the YouTube channel is to help give me something to keep my mind busy and not, I don't know, get me motivated to do things again. So that's why I wanted the first video to be on that topic. I want to start with when I first remember feeling sad and depressed. I want to say I was about 12, 13. And the reason I remember that is growing up, I had a calendar, and every day I would cross off the day at the end of the day and draw a smiley face or a frowny face, or face, depending on how my day went. I remember 2004 was the last year I had on that, like, of my calendars, that had more smiley faces than sad faces. So 2004, I was 12. So about puberty age, when everything starts changing. I think that's when the depression started. But I wasn't diagnosed till I was 16. Um, I had no reason to be depressed. I grew up with an amazing family, 5 siblings, mom and dad that loved me. I have lots of memories of fishing with my dad and baking with my mom and playing in the backyard with all my siblings, and we had so many pets, couldn't count them. So yeah, I had an awesome childhood. I had no reason to be depressed, and I think the fact that your body does go through so many changes with puberty and everything, I think that's where it all started. So yeah, I wasn't diagnosed till I was 16. What led to my diagnosis was I want to say it was in 10th grade. I was skipping school a lot. Actually, no, I can't start there because where do I want to start? I want to start at the beginning of the year. So, my parents got divorced. They split up when I was 15. They were going to try to work things out. They couldn't, and they officially split when I was 16. So the summer I was 16, I'd be going into 10th grade that fall. So that summer, I moved from my house in Port Trevorton, Pennsylvania, which is in the middle of nowhere. We had woods in front of our house and woods in back of our house, so it was the middle of nowhere. I went from that with my mom to moving into town with Selinsgrove, with my dad. And me and my dad were never very close before then. I was always a mom, a mom kid. You know how there's always a mama's boy or mama's girl or, whatever. I was a mama's kid. So, I was really upset when we moved in with my dad, just because I felt like I was losing one of my best friends. My mom moved to Chicago with a man that she had been talking to. Without getting too much into her personal stuff, she was going through her own depression with the split and everything, and she needed to get away for a while for herself. So I can't blame her for that now, but at the time, I was very upset that she had left. So I went from that familiar, safe feeling to living with my dad and having to learn more about my dad. And in the end, I'm really glad that I did live with my dad, because we're a lot closer now, and I got to know my dad, and he's an awesome guy. So, um, anyway, so that summer, we made that move. Um, my oldest brother is a recovering heroin addict, and at the time he was in and out of jail. He had just gone back into jail, and I always loved my oldest brother. I always really looked up to him, and he was like one of my heroes. So that was very hard for me too, seeing him go back to jail because of something so evil like heroin. Not only that, but at 15 is when I came out to just my mom, my sister, and my brother. And at 16 is when I came out to everyone else. So that was very hard, growing up in a Mormon family. Being gay isn't exactly, I mean, they won't shun you or anything, but it's not, what they're hoping for. So, honestly, I actually didn't even come out to my dad. What happened was my oldest brother, Ben, he was living in my dad's basement at the time, and he was going through some of his old stuff, and he found a hat with a beaver on it. And he brought it up to me, and he said, "Hey, I'm getting rid of some stuff. I found this hat. I was wondering if you wanted it." And I started laughing, and my dad was like, "Well, why would she want that?" And he looked at it, and he's like, "'Cause she's..." And then he looked at me, and he saw my face, and I was like, he doesn't know. And then he was like, "I'm so sorry." And my dad kind of looked at me, and we didn't talk about it. That was it. So, it was like, I think, me and my dad are similar in the way that we don't like conflict, and his way of dealing with my brother outing me was just to ignore it. So yeah, so I mean, I actually felt kind of relieved that I didn't have to come out to my dad, that my brother kind of let it slip, so that made it easy on me, actually. But yeah, so I was coming out, I was dealing with that, and like I said, growing up in a Mormon family, and even not in a Mormon family, it's society in general, it's wrong for people, it's viewed as wrong for people to be interested in the same sex. So I had a couple boyfriends in high school, but it never lasted more than a month, before they started expressing feelings that I just couldn't return. So at 16, that summer, I came out to my best friend. And I came out to my best friend because I actually had a crush on her. I had feelings for her for over a year. When I came out to my mom at 15, my mom, my sister, my brother, it was because I was having feelings for this girl. And so after a full year of dealing with that, I didn't want to hide it anymore. So I came out to her, and that was the scariest part. The scariest person that I had to come out to was my best friend. And she was completely cool with it. She was like, "You were scared to tell me that? Like, I don't care. That doesn't matter to me." And I cried in relief. It felt amazing. And then the next night, we were talking on the phone, and she was upset about some boy. And I was like, "Listen, I can't say that he doesn't care about you because I'm not him, but I'm here. It's 5 a.m. I'm here on the phone with you, listening and pouring our hearts out to each other. And I told her, I was like, I've been in love with you for a year now. And surprisingly, she said that she felt the same way. That she had feelings for me too. And that when I came out to her the previous day, it made her very happy. And that she was waiting to do basically the same. So we started dating, and we were only together for a couple months. It was a long distance thing, but she had cheated on me and gotten pregnant, and we're still friends till this day. Actually, she has 2 kids now, she has a husband, and we're still really good friends, and I love the crap out of her. But at that time, that crushed me, and that on top of the divorce and moving and my brother being gone and not having my mom to talk to about it, and my dad not wanting to talk to me, like my dad not wanting to talk about the fact that I was even gay. I couldn't tell him about my first heartbreak. Like, the person that I actually found comfort in was my dad's girlfriend at the time. She noticed that I was really sad one day, and staying in my room, and she could tell that I had been crying, and she asked me what was wrong, and something about her and her vibe. I don't know how to word it. I poured everything out. I told her everything, and she said, "There's nothing wrong with you for being gay." She's like, "I'm bisexual." And I had told her about how I didn't know what to do because my dad didn't want to talk about it, and she was like, "I will talk to your dad. I don't think your dad realizes that I have had relationship with women before." And she actually really helped my dad accept the homosexual community. Like, he never wanted to talk about it before, and then I want to say the next year after that, I was going to my first Pride. Me and my mom were going to my first Pride because she moved back after a year. And I came downstairs, and I was wearing a shirt that says "Come out, come out," and then on the back it said "Wherever you are." And I came down the stairs wearing this shirt, and my dad was like, "Hey, happy coming out day." And I felt so happy, because a year previously he didn't even want to acknowledge the fact that I like girls, and now he was saying happy coming out day to me, and it was awesome. Anyway, back to all that heartbreak and everything I was going through is when I was first diagnosed with depression. And the reason I got diagnosed was because after so long, even talking with my dad's girlfriend at the time, which was a big help, it didn't fix my depression, you know. And the thing about depression is it isn't just sadness. You don't just feel sad all the time. You don't just want to cry all the time. You feel numb. And that's what I was so tired of not feeling anything, that I cut myself. And some people don't understand why people cut, and it's because you are so tired of not feeling anything. You rather feel physical pain than nothing. And yeah, so that happened. And after it happened, I was laying in bed and I was looking at the scars on my arm. And I called my sister and I told her what happened. And she came over and she told my dad's girlfriend what happened. And they came into my room and they were talking to me. And we scheduled me a doctor's appointment. And they went with me for the appointment, came back with me to talk with the doctor because I was scared. I didn't want to go alone. And my doctor started me on Prozac, which is usually, she said, which is usually what they start teenagers on because it's the one with the least amount of side effects and stuff like that. So I started out on Prozac and it did help for a good while. But after so much time, I could feel it not working as well. So she upped my dose. Same thing, it worked for a while, and I slowly started to notice it not working as well. So she switched me to Celexa. And Celexa worked fine for my mood. I was happy. I felt like myself again. But it gave me tremors. Like my hands would shake so bad that I couldn't write. So then my doctor put me on Wellbutrin, and she put me on Wellbutrin because I was actually smoking. Like I was saying earlier, I was skipping a lot of school in 10th grade. So after that summer, that fall, I was back in school. I'm gonna have to edit this video. Fuck. I've been talking for 20 minutes and now I'm fucking up. Jude, shut up! Anyway. So, that fall, I dated my girlfriend from August. From August to October, I think. And that fall, when I was in school, I was skipping a lot. I was smoking a lot of pot. And that's what, when she made the switch from Celexa to Wellbutrin, because Wellbutrin actually is also used to help you stop smoking. So when I was on Wellbutrin, that's the best I've ever felt. Out of all the medications I've ever been on, Wellbutrin made me feel the best. But again, with the tremors, my hands would shake so bad I couldn't write sometimes. So, unfortunately, I asked her to switch me again. I didn't want to because I told her how I liked the way that I felt on this one. But I couldn't. I was in school. I needed to be able to write. So, then she put me on Zoloft, and that's actually what I'm still on now. I've been on Zoloft for 6 years. And that leads us to where I am now. And after 6 years, I don't know if my body's building up a tolerance to it or something. She's upped my dose, and it's still not quite working the way it was before. So I'm actually thinking of contacting my doctor here when my pill bottle's up and talking to her about switching me again. After being on so many medications, I really don't want to try anymore because I found, like with Zoloft, it works for the most part. My hands don't shake. The only problem is it makes me feel kind of sleepy, so I take it at night. But that's it. So I don't really want to switch because it does work for the most part, but every once in a while I still find myself with the numb feeling, sadness, anger. I'm irritable a lot. And that's why I wanted to do this project, this YouTube thing, to help me not feel those things anymore and help me feel something other than numb and anger and sadness. So, that's brings me to the next topic that I wanted to talk about is coping. Some people don't like medication, they don't want to take medication, so you gotta find coping mechanisms that work for you. Make a YouTube channel. I used to draw, I used to paint, I used to write. I used to write a lot, especially in high school when I was going through the depression, because it was such a good outlet for me. I wrote a lot of free verse poetry about, emo stuff, the sad stuff that, people be snapping to and stuff. But since I'm not quite that sad anymore, and I'm more just irritable and numb, I don't have as much inspiration to write, and that's why I'm trying the YouTube channel. So, yeah, so this has been going on for about 20 minutes. I hope I can edit it, because I did have some fuck-ups there in the middle, with the dog barking and me fucking up my timeline here, how I wanted to break things down for you. But it's my first video, so if I can't figure it out, sorry I had to deal with that shit. But yeah, thanks for tuning in for this video. If you suffer with depression, and you don't want to try medications, you don't want to talk to somebody, try to find something you enjoy doing to focus and put your energy into, like a YouTube channel, like writing, like painting, making jewelry, playing video games, reading, whatever makes you happy, that can help you escape from the unwanted feelings, do it. But make sure it's healthy, and take care of yourself. So yeah, thanks for watching my first video, and I'm not sure what the next one's going to be on. There are quite a few things that I want to touch on and whatnot, but here's my first video, and thanks for watching, and I hope you tune in for the next one. Bye.